Hi guys, thanks so much for joining me today. Today we're going to look at week 2 in November of my budget planning. So this is starting November 11th. And let me just tell you guys, I had to make so many changes to my budget from last week. If you saw my video earlier, I actually think it posted over the weekend because I'm a little bit late posting videos in November. I'm new with the channel and I'm just kind of trying to figure things out. But y'all, I had to go back and do a lot of reworking. So if you saw my earlier budget videos, you saw that I'm trying a new approach, and it was just a little bit of a struggle last week because nothing was really adding up. I couldn't figure out where to put information when I spent money, and then I ended up going out of town, and that was a huge unexpected expense, and I just struggled really bad, and I had to go back and redo some of my budgeting for last week. So I won't really get into that too much, but I will just point out that this sheet is intended to transfer to my catch-all, and I did move it because it was so off. And I actually used this big sheet, which I didn't think I would use at all, to kind of rework what I needed to do for the month. And so it turned out to be a benefit that I had this in here. But yeah, it was kind of crazy last week. But, right, learning lesson. And that's what these 2 months are really about for me. I am trying a new budget style at the end of this year so that when 2025 gets here, I'll be ready to just like hit the ground running. And so every learning lesson that I go through is a benefit for these 2 months. So I ended my expense tracker at $506 for last week. So I am going to carry that over into this week as my starting balance. So this is the 11th, and I'm just going to do carry over, right? And so it was $506. So I will say that even though I had to rework the numbers, the approach that I'm trying worked out well. It really did. I just need to get better at administering the approach, but it did work out pretty well. So that being said, I'm starting my bills and expenses balance with $506. And if I flip back to the beginning of the month where I set up my weekly mini cash flows, you'll see that for this week, my expected expenses are $960. So that means I need to pay out approximately $500 to myself. And you see all this white out because I had to just change a lot. But it worked. Like I said, the approach actually worked really well. I just didn't necessarily administer it, or when I first did this budget a week or so ago, it just, my mind wasn't in the right place. Whatever the case may be, I had to redo it, and it's working out well so far. But yeah, so I need to pay out $500 for this week. So that is how I will make sure that I have enough money in my budget to cover my bills for all of this week. And so when I do that, which I probably will do that Tuesday or Wednesday, not on today's a holiday, so I won't put it on today, so maybe tomorrow or the next day. When I do that, then I'll have enough to cover all of my bills for this week and expenses. You see over on the left hand side, I have budgeted $50 for groceries. I haven't spent any of that so far this week. For me, my weeks start on Monday. That's how I do my budget. I have $15 for entertainment. There's some music I'm going to buy toward the end of the week. And then transportation, $25. I have to go into work this week, so I'm going to need to top up on gas. I typically work from home, but I do have an in the office appointment later in the week. So that's what my week looks like. Not very active. Like I said, I tend to not have a ton of expenses unless I'm like buying personal things. And that's why I'm really trying to be more intentional with my budget this year, because in 2025, because I tend to go way over on personal and entertainment spending. So that's why I'm taking the approach that I'm taking. And while I flip to my challenges, I just want to point out one thing about that. I think when you're doing a budget, it's really important to like be honest with yourself and know yourself versus other people that you see doing budgets. For some other people, you know, they never spend anything on entertainment or personal or whatever. And hey, that's their priority. But you need to know where your challenges are. And for me, personal spending, entertainment spending, those are my challenges, 100%. I live on Amazon. I live on Etsy. I do. And I need to not do that as much in 2025. So, be honest with yourself. And then that way you can make goals that work with you instead of working against you. Okay, so one thing I did do this week is I started my 30-day challenge. I didn't know if I was going to start a 30-day challenge because I just didn't know, because I really kind of rolled out this budget like later in the month for November. So I didn't know if I would do that, but I decided to do that because I do have a planned vacation coming up the end of this month around Thanksgiving, and it's a pretty big vacation. So I do have a savings goal for that. And so I'm going to use this savings challenge to represent it. Now, like I showed you guys before, the way I keep track of all my savings challenges, because I don't use like a cash envelope system or anything like that, but I love the process, is that I do it digitally. So I start my challenge and then I go back to the front of my planner, and I keep this in the annual section. If I didn't tell you this, I keep my sinking and challenge goal sheet in the annual section, because this isn't like a total of how much is in each account, but this is just a listing of all the challenges that I'm going to do. So it's double-sided, and as the year goes through, hopefully this will get filled up, and it just keeps track of what challenges I'm starting and completing. So you see I added the 30-day challenge for $3,000. That's the goal. And I've added it here to keep track of it, so that when I check my account balances, when I reach that goal, I'll know what the $3,000 is for. So I have listed the details on the 30-day challenge, and I did make some deposits into that. So on the 9th, I made a $340 deposit. So I am going to make a deposit today, or I made the deposit today, and this is the 30-day challenge. So I'm going to make another $100 deposit. And so, why am I writing cash here? Oh, okay, I know. The first deposit I made was cash. And so the second deposit I'm making is cash. And I just said I don't use cash, but I had some cash from my birthday money, and so that's why I have this cash left over. But I need to put $440 in that balance, because that is what the balance is, even though that part of the balance is particularly cash. Okay, so then I just come in here and I'm going to fill in my tracker or my challenge sheet. Each of these equals 100, so I'm at 440. So I am just going to color this in to represent approximately 440. So yeah, so that pretty much takes care of my update for that particular challenge. I have not started the $2,500 challenge. This is a pretty long challenge. I have this set for December 31st, but that's incorrect. I just wrote this wrong. This should be, because you see it says 2025, and obviously Well, not obviously, but it's not intended for December 21st, 2025. It is intended for January 31st, 2025. Oh, that's smeared. So yeah, that is the goal for this. So this is a longer term goal. And then Christmas is not quite that long term, but I really haven't started putting money in there yet for Christmas. We'll see how that goes. I really do want to at least get several weeks of savings and not just buy Christmas out of like one of my paychecks. And so I just don't want to do that. And I don't want to take money out of a long-term savings account either. I really want to specifically save for Christmas. I usually don't do that. I usually either take the money out of my long-term savings or I use paycheck money. And I just want to get away from that habit. But I think my approach with budgeting this year is getting me to that point. Whether I do it this month or not, we'll see. But I'm excited about what the future looks like for 2025. So that's it. That is my budgeting for this week. Thanks for watching.